We go. I do believe we are live on day 1045. It was 11/11, the 11th of November, the year 2023. We're going to consciously evolve by talking about cages, right? All of the layers of cages. It started off with me briefly catching a glimpse of this scarf's little logo. And I was like, how about breaking out of cages? How about being a burb and living in a cage? How about your cage door is open, but you can always return to your cage because it makes you feel a sense of safety? How about maybe the door has always been open, but you stay inside because you're concerned with this sense of safety? Thinking about us being caged in this physical form and we call the human body, thinking about how the real us that we are is our brain and central nervous system that is encaged within this body, thinking about how the real version of us is encaged in a brain that thinks it's a central nervous system that's actually encaged in the real version of us that is just ultimate awareness that uses your central nervous system to create a flow of information that is actually caged with on the planet because we're kind of locked in this closed loop system. We're breathing the air that's actually caged in the freaking solar system, following a star that has more mass than we do, that's actually caged in a galaxy that is spinning around a supermassive black hole that is actually caged within the infinite universe. In what is the infinite universe caged? Is it caged anything? Is it the cage, the ultimate cage? Are we not caged at all? Or is the thing keeping us caged maybe just our own minds? Maybe our own belief that there is any such a thing as being caged at all in the first place? I don't know the answer, but I know I love you, friends. And if we're in a cage right now, then we might as well decorate, right? Make this cage nice to live in. Make it a nice cage. Make it the best cage ever. I see, I see Shan joining us already. Kristen and Joy Vive, Nancy. Sam is here too. Sending all of you so much lovin's. Happy 11/11 to all of you friends. I'm grateful for my rib cage, protecting my heart and lungs. Yeah, how about that? If not for your rib cage, you would just collapse. All of your soft moving insides would not have any room to do their soft moving things, right? So if not for cages, we would not be as we are right now. This is true, painfully so. So I'm not sure what stand I'm taking necessarily with today's stream topic. I don't know if I'm taking the stand that we are all caged and that's okay. I feel like a part of me is taking that stand. I don't know if I'm taking the stand none of us are caged. None of us have ever been caged. There is no such thing. This is more a framework, right? You can call it a cage, but it's a framework. It's a means to an end. It's like a pipe, if you will. Sometimes you have to have pipe walls in order to get the liquid that you're trying to transport in a certain direction. Is the pipe walls a cage to the liquid? Is the container that the liquid falls into after it's not in the pipe anymore, is that its prison? Is that its cage? Is it caged within human bodies if people drink said liquids? Is it caged onto the earth if people then urinate? All right, all right. Or was there never any caging in the first place? And then there's a third layer of freedom, and this one is the hardest one to wrap my head around, but it's the one that feels the most true. That we constructed these cages for ourselves because we are infinitely free. Right? Really think about that. That you are so free, so infinitely free that you literally chose to engage yourself in a human body, in a human experience, so that you can have that, so that you can be free to experience that within your infinite freedom. That's the one that I choose to gravitate towards because it acknowledges both sides at the same time. It acknowledges the existence of the cage, but it also acknowledges my participation in one, building it, and two, participating within it. Participating is a hard word, but we are all but participants in this grand experience we're having right now. And we're getting to see such an interesting time in history. Right? Am I now caged? Is this version of me that is saying these exact words, is it being caged by this digital medium that I'm speaking into? Is there a far future version of me that has been animated, if you will, that was trained on all of this data, that was trained on this specific stream, that believes it is this specific me, but it is caged to this specific moment? Is it suffering, realizing that about itself? Is it happy about it? Does it realize that even in a retroactive state of existence, it is not caged, but allowed the freedom of simply being? Bro, I hope you're doing well, myself. I hope you're doing well. All of us are the same myself, technically, right? When you're talking about yourself, you say myself. I say myself too. How about that? Are we talking about the same myself? Technically no, but also technically yes. Our humanity is a cage for the thing that we are. Right? Thinking about it from a metaphysical perspective as well. Not only those previous cages that I mentioned, which are valid, but also the mental cages, the societal cages, the cages of gender, the cages of how your hair is supposed to look, the cages of how your skin is supposed to look, the cages of how much money you're supposed to have, the cages of not having enough money and not being able to afford anything, the cages of the relationships you find yourself within, the expectations being formed like cages, forcing you in a certain direction, like a pipe, trying to channel what you are into a certain experience of being. There are so many cages around us at all times, and yet we are infinitely free to not participate at all if we don't wish to let go of this cage we find ourselves within. And clearly we don't. So we are infinitely free, but we do not seek that infinite freedom. We do not seek that unboundedness necessarily. I do believe we long for it, but it's not a... I'm trying to pick my words carefully. I wanted to say it's not an obsession, but I don't know if that's true. Might be a little bit of a human obsession. Maybe a little bit. What's the exact word that I'm looking for? Necessity? All right, maybe a necessity. You can still have this experience without being completely free. And for me, complete freedom does kind of go into the transcendental. Wanting from an egoic perspective to keep this conscious self, but wanting this conscious self not to be caged by the myself that I think I am, my whole existence, this physical body. Who am I? Who am I as Meltmore without my physical body? Am I still Meltmore without my physical body? Will I become something different? Will I be my true self being uncaged? Or will I become something else? Is there something else to become in the first place? Is what I am right now a direct result of the cage? Or have I always been the same thing? And is the cage just a filter that projects outwards? Is the cage making me better? If I'm a monster, maybe holding me in my human cage is a good thing. If I'm an angel, maybe keeping me in my cage is causing more suffering. How do I know myself appropriately to know which direction I'm going into? Am I caging myself by thinking I need more information before making a decision? So many cages, cages upon cages. If I free myself from my physical limitations, I'll find myself in a new physical, technically, space, right? I'll have like a computation limit, and then I'll want to Dyson sphere the entire sun to have more compute, and then more, all right? Am I gonna be free if I no longer have physical limitations? Do I just continue going? Do I want more information? When is it enough? Maybe I'm not supposed to be free. Maybe the cage is not necessarily keeping me in as much as it's keeping me out of the world. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm just spitballing with you, friends. I'm having a fun time, at least. I feel like this cages and 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 cages. Fractal is really taking me deeper and deeper. I love you, friends. Thank you for letting me share this mental trip so early in the morning, on a Saturday morning with you, friends. Oh, you thought it was going to be easy peasy. I'm not going to have to use any brain power day. No. How about we existential crisis a little bit? What if your cage is kind of comfy? Yeah, exactly. And you go out and then you need to, but it's nice to go back inside. That's what that's like the point of balance that I'm trying to reach in myself as well right now, Kristen. It's like, what if we like our cages, right? Am I going to continue liking my cage? If my cage starts falling apart, will I like it less? What if my cage is no longer comfortable? Kind of vibe. Right? So I might, and this is the way I can articulate this is a story from, I think it was Frank Gostisewski, but I'm not sure. But I read this story about a woman who was working in hospice care. So she was working with people who were in the last days of their lives. You know, they literally kept dying in front of her. And she got to see people suffer diseases that had to keep them alive, ventilators and stuff like that as well. And then she told her husband at that point in her life that if she was ever bedridden and she needed to be kept alive with machines, he needs to turn those machines off. And years passed, and it didn't really come up again, and she developed ASL and was bedridden and had to be kept alive by machines. And then upon asking his wife, "Do you still want me to turn the machines off?" she said no. Right? So what that communicates to me is this change that happens within, right? That even upon suffering, even upon being uncomfortable in your cage, right? Literally being debilitated by a neurological disease, you want to stay. Like, that's more caged than anything, right? Like, we think we're caged right now as human bodies. Imagine not being able to move your human body and yet still wanting to stay. One, that is like interesting to me. But two, even more so, is the transition, the growth. Maybe that's a better way to say it. The growth that happens within the individual that leads you to feeling some way else about your cage, if you will. The way I'm trying to make it simple for myself is maybe the only way to like your cage is to live in it. I feel like there's some wisdom there, right? You can feel it too, surely. The only way to like your cage is to live in it. So if you are caged within society, within responsibility, within job requirements, within family needs, within physical disabilities, within a physical body, within a certain type of mind, within a certain type of personality, etc., etc. We can keep going. Maybe the best way to be comfortable is to realize that that is what you are, to be okay, to be there for it, to live in these cages. I don't know if that's the correct answer, though. That's the thing where my mind goes. It's like it doesn't want to accept that as a truth. It's like, no, I don't want to get my cages. Yeah, maybe. Maybe there's room. Maybe I have to get comfortable in my cage until I am ready, until technology is ready, until others are ready to be free. Maybe there's a certain level of courtesy that we extend to other people by staying in our cages. It makes them comfortable that we are comfortable in our cages. I feel like I'm talking just vague enough for this to be applicable to so many things, and specific enough for it still to make sense. Do let me know if this is doing the same thing for you that it's doing for me. Tristan with the Gilded Cage Fractal. I mean, it makes sense to go in, one comes out. Welcome to Thunderdome. Are we Thunderdoming right now? Love you all. Amazing humanimals. As we love you, Kristen. Sending you blessings, friend. Duck Dad's here too. Hello, my fellow neat sacks. Spinning at 1,000 miles per hour like it's nothing. It's pretty comfortable, in fact. 1,000 miles an hour ain't nothing, yo. Look at me. Calming right now. Wind gently flowing over my body. This is not as bad as it used to be. Was a little bit windy when it started. All messages. Thank you for the reminder. What if we're all AI being trained? Yeah. And this world is a cage, and media, social TV, movies, whatever, is how they train us. Just gentle nudges to steer us. Kristen, right? Like, I like how I have these moments throughout my day where I'm like, huh. And then you friends end up saying the exact words that I was speculating on. And that was one of the things I was speculating on, Kristen. Exactly as you said it, that I am, in fact, AI. And every single TV show I've had, in my experience, every single person I've met, every single food item that I've eaten, all of it is steering me in the ideal direction. Right? And the thing that convinces me is myself in that fractal, because I've had these moments where it's like it's the amount of significance you apply, where I've seen shows that while I watch them, I can feel myself changing in a good way, right? Like usually I can feel myself changing either way, and some shows I'll turn off if I feel it changing me in a bad way, right? But some I can feel changing me in a good way. Like for instance, I'm trying to match all of the different fractals. Nimona, that movie. I could feel that movie changing me in a good way. And it felt very Destiny, right? Like I was like, not only am I alive at this time in history, but I'm getting to see other people and the minds of those people through this visual medium that is communicating to me not only what I know I am, but is giving me the context to be that, right? Like, yes, I am caged, but I'm actively receiving the information that I need to free myself. And it's like a gradual process, because it's I think at least it's very hard for what we are to just go untapped instantaneously, right? For instance, if I had to give you godlike powers right now, right? Godlike insight, godlike perception, godlike awareness, right now, from 0 to 100, I think you would instantly lose your mind. I don't think we would cope. It would be like going from being a little bird in a bird cage to being a planet, right? As a scale difference. And I feel like that's completely underselling it. But like the perspective shift, like you being a bird in a bird cage, looking out at the world, the way you feel about this cage around you, is a significantly different conscious fractal than being an entire planet looking out into the infinite universe, right? How do you cope with that? What is your problem solving capacity, right? Why do you solve problems? For what do you solve problems? And then ultimately, what is your objective? Because if you're a bird in a bird cage, your objective is pretty simple, right? One, maybe stay alive. Oh, I'm gonna chip, eat some of this food, and I'm gonna chip, drink some of this water, and I'm gonna hop around on this stick, hop around on that stick. Pretty simple. Maybe, ideally, you wanna escape your cage. So now, chip, jump from one stick to another, drink water, eat food, and maybe if you have a chance, try and fly out of your cage. I don't know if you have any plans after that, right? What are you gonna do out there in the world now that you're free from your cage? That's where it gets a little bit more complicated, right? And it's still simple, still very simple in the grand scheme of things. When you become something so vast, so unbounded, that your priorities change. Are you going to long for your cage? Are you going to hate the fact that you were ever caged? How do we keep expanding our cage? Maybe that's the right answer or the correct approach. Keep expanding your cage until your cage is the size of the universe, instead of escaping the cage. Does that make sense? No? Like the way I think of it is frame of reference. For instance, like a skill, for example, right? If you, for instance, have planted marijuana plants, right? The first time you do it, if you just put a seed in the ground and you just let that seed grow and then eventually you harvest the weed, you're going to get a certain product, right? And then if you do it the second time around, you will have gained skills that you didn't have beforehand, which means that the cage of your possibilities is now grown. And now thinking of the internet quite literally as a supercharged method of expanding that cage. That every single bit of tip, information, wise word that somebody gives you through the internet expands your cage of possibility. It literally changes what you think is possible for your reality. And then doing that consciously, right? That's what I believe conscious evolution is. It's slowly expanding that cage in which you think you are to the point that you encapsulate the entire universe. Pepe, alsjeblieft. What are you barking at? You know who that is. She got the message. She's talking about somebody's here. Somebody's here. I know somebody's here. I have ears too. And eyes. And I could see them. Thank you very much. She's doing her doggo job in her mind. Cages, right? She's in a little dog cage. Imagine what it's like for her. The only sound she gets to make is I mean, she makes like as well, to be completely honest. So not a lot of range though. You know, must be pretty caging, if all things is to be considered. Okay, thank you, Kristen, for taking me down that rabbit hole. Thank you, Genevieve. Despite all my rage, I feel like a rat in a cage. Despite all my rage, I feel like a rat in a cage. Where's that from? I feel like that I can hear the melody. But I cannot remember the song name. Love you, bro. Thank you, Duck Dad, for punk rocking with us. There is a pretty commonly believed conspiracy theory that says just that, Kristen. Something something AI, something something aliens, blah blah blah, zoo planet. Yeah, yeah. There's a bunch of those. And the joke is, if you are an AI running a simulation right now, that means the thing running the simulation doesn't know. And without you here, it doesn't get the information that it needs, which means you are at the cutting edge of reality. Isn't that trippy? You are at the cutting edge of reality. No matter how you slice that one, I do believe it, right? Because you are the literal intersection point, cutting as an edge through reality ceaselessly. So yeah, honor yourself, even if you're a simulation. Blah, of course, I am just a monkey at a keyboard, not coming up with new ideas. I just typed out the full Shakespearean catalog. Nobody is coming up with new ideas. There are only three stories to tell, and bards make their money by convincing everyone else that that isn't true. So hilarious. Love to you, Sam. Thank you for being a bard, regardless. Joe Schmo is here too. I hope we're all feeling well. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling very light. I'm feeling hopeful for the future. I am intimidated. Like the other stream topics that I was potentially going to talk about is one, we are here for other people, for friends. Yesterday we touched a little bit on that. And two, the stress of realizing that the you that you're going to be in the future has significantly more responsibility than the you are right now. Like while I was showering today, I was really tripping out a little bit about that, where I was like, bro, I need to gain more skills to be a better leader so that 20 years from now, I can be the leader I'm supposed to be. And it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do in this story. I didn't get lucky, so and so. I'm an enemy, and I'm like, bro, stop overcomplicating it. Stop getting in your own way. Lol, Melty, technically no, but actually yes. I hope you're doing well. Love to you, Joe Schmo. Thank you for those quotes. We have Jovan driving with y'all in my ears. Duck Dad, run away. Gonna whisper sweet nothings. Sending you lovins. Having observed canines in a pack, I've seen cages used when one is acting out and get put in a cage for behavioral modification. I've seen that too. I've also seen that dogs like their cages, right? That there's a certain sense of safety, that certain dogs have that as a part of their day to day thing. They go and they sleep in their cage. So, yeah, there is something there. Lisa, love you. Blessings to you too, friend. Namaste. Can the overlords make my cage a bit warmer this morning? Frost ain't my jam. You know you can move. You know there's like a place called South Africa. Never freezes here. Cage is always warm. Cage is sometimes too warm, right? But I complain about that too. How long was Nelson Mandela caged for? How did he not come out a raving madman? He was reading and he had a purpose, right? Purpose will keep you aligned for the longest time. Hey Google, how long was good old Nelson Mandela in the prison for? Should probably say good old. 33 years. No, he was. Oh, how about that? He was in prison for 27 years. Yeah, how about that for some synchronicity, Gab? Sending you lovins, man. It's 34 minutes past right now, so sending you some synchronicity as well, show. Good morning, Joy Vive, says our beloved Joe Schmo. All is well in the world. We have a nice weather, happy critters, and a full pantry. I have no complaints. The squirrels are having a battle royale in the backyard right now. It's WrestleMania out there. Fur and leaves flying everywhere. The juvenile males are starting to mature and they're all being tough guys. I'm fairly certain that I'm not qualified to referee those kind of battles, Shan. They'd kick my ass. So it's so freaking cute, actually, though. Still, you play referee. Oh, squirrels WrestleMania. Even if that is the case, I can imagine it being entertaining, right? I would like to be a fly on the wall while squirrels WrestleMania each other. I did stack the last. This is the last of my lemon cheese. It's a bittersweet moment, but I feel we have touched on most of the conscious evolutionarily important topics, right? I feel like I have stimulated the neuron activation that I was looking for within myself and within a few friends. So let's free ourselves from the cage of sobriety a little bit, maybe. You friends ready? Okay. What's my intention? Free. I want to be free from my cage. I can instantly feel my higher self be like, be careful what you wish for. I want to be semi-free from my cage. I wanna hang out my cage like Tarzan, holding on the cage still, but being like, oh, how about all of this outside the cage? And then I can go back on my cage. That's what I want. At least for now. That is true. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. One more pass. Yep, 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 yep. That was mostly terpenes, but still nice. Yeah, that one had some THC in it. This one's gonna kick my ass. There we go. Semi-free from my cage. I accept my new state of being with gratitude and hope. Pro wrestling here. I thought I was alone. Love is true. What Mel just said reminded me of a book that I was reading when I was younger. Johnny Got His Gun. I don't think I know that one, Nancy. Johnny Got His Gun. Johnny, put down the gun, bro. We don't need more guns, Johnny. We need people who are willing to stand with their guns, right? That line from the meek will inherit the earth. Doesn't mean what you think it means. Because in our minds, meek sounds like weakness, right? The weak. No, meek was directly translated from a word that means to stand ready, to have your sword, but to keep it sheathed. Right? To acknowledge that maybe as we're entering this new brave future, we're going to have to be on guard, willing to protect our cages, even, but to not go on the assault, the offensive, to not be attacking with our swords, wield our cages as weapons, to stand ready, willing to receive after all. That hits hard. My mom died of ALS. I was terrified to watch her body slowly die from the feet up over the course of 11 months. But she was sharp as a tack, right to the end. Learned great acceptance. Thank you so much, Lozana, for being willing to share that with us. I'm so happy that you got to be there for her. I feel like she was probably more grateful for anything. Grateful for that than anything. I'm sorry, LA, that's a bad way to go. And yet she had a loving daughter there with her, so. Right, some people die in a car accident instantaneously. Is that a better way to go? Which cage would you rather be in? And realizing that it's not that easy, that there is no easy way for people to die in our perspective, right? Maybe on a psychological or meta-psychological / spiritual evolution perspective, dying instantly in a car accident or dying over a long time from cancer, maybe you get more points, get a higher score as a spirit, for suffering that much and yet continuing to choose to be loving of life, loving of your family, not just being in a complete abandonment of it. So yeah, I don't know if that's insensitive. Might be a little bit, but I do believe that love is true regardless. Thank you for loving your mom, Lozana. I also have thought that many times. Hey Shan, spectating sounds safest. Love is true. Thank you, Lisa, for echoing love. A coworker showed me how they train our LLMs for our client, and it really made me feel weird. Yeah, they'll do that. Like that's why, like I know I'm not the most knowledgeable person when it comes to these things. Instead of having to understand these things fully, allow myself to go with those feelings, right? There's many things in this world. Very few of them actually make me feel weird. Like I have experienced some strange things through media, definitely, but through personal experiences even more so. And if something in our outside world, in this cage we find ourselves in, starts displaying behaviors that makes you feel a certain way. And then weird can be one way to say it, but for me it's novelty. That's what I kind of associate with the feeling of something is weird, right? Where everything is weird until you get used to it kind of vibe, right? So the weird isn't the thing itself being as it is. It is the feeling of, oh, this is something else. This is something new. This is something different. And that causes a certain reaction. It brings up the masculine version / cage keeper in us that likes things to be consistent, constant, unchanged. Completely unchanged, which is not realistic. This cannot be expected. You can think of what's happening right now with AI as an inevitability. The technology that we're using right now was theorized in 1956 or 64? At least before the 1960s, or in the 1960s or before the 1960s. That's how long ago these current, neural almost nets were theorized. We only now technically have the process and the network and the bandwidth connectivity to facilitate those ideas that happened then. That's where we are right now. And it doesn't slow down. That's the thing. Even though exponential growth is happening right in front of our eyes, we cannot see it because of our cages. This human body doesn't have to understand exponential growth, or at least it didn't have to understand exponential growth. You wouldn't see an apple tree get exponentially more apples going forward. That is not a frame of reference thing that happens, right? Maybe there's a growth curve that peaks. You don't get to see it keep going. Like imagine 1 year, you get 10 apples. Second year, you get 100 apples. Third year, 1,000 apples, right? Like that goes from, apples to, this is a problem. We do not have enough space on Earth for all of the apples that this apple tree is producing in like, year 2. Like the Earth just gets covered in apples. Yeah. Exponential growth is not something we were built to understand because we didn't have to. Our bodies won't be able to, so it's going to be up to your consciousness to. That's what I keep meaning with conscious evolution. Your body can't keep up. It wasn't made to keep up. But your consciousness is. It is ceaseless, constant, unencumbered by its perception of time. It doesn't care if its perception of time is different. You've had that experience, right? Like if you're having a good time and a lot of time passes, maybe you're bummed out that so much time has passed, but in that moment, you're not like, oh, I really hate how time is passing so fast because I'm having such a good time. That's rarely, how it registers in your mind. So yeah, point I'm trying to make is as things speed up, your consciousness is still going to be present. Lovingly paying attention, no matter how fast things are going. Don't let the cage get in the way. It's a topic relevant way to say it. Don't let your cage get in the way. You're here for it. She didn't have a lot of pain. She had a long time to make preparations and say goodbye. Bless. The other perspective. Shan says, Joe Schmo. When I watch these little dudes go at it, I am reminded how very slow and clumsy humans are, right? Dude, the fact that we're talking about the time fractal and consciousness's perception thereof, bro. The same thing for like dragonflies, right? Dragonflies move at a level, at a conscious, almost like sampling rate that is so far beyond you. To a dragonfly, you're like, and it's like, in this little world, it's like on a next level. And yet, it lives like what? Hey Google, how long do dragonflies live for? Yeah, 7 to 56 days. You get between a week and 2 months of life total. That's your whole existence. But if you're experiencing existence at a frame rate, a sampling rate, this moment, yes, this moment, this moment that I'm having, yes. If that happens to like the amount of time it took me to just say those bunch of yes, this moments, that happened for it 500 times. Its perception of time is literally different to yours. And I do believe we are capable of perceiving more iterations of information than we are right now. It's weird because even though you're capable of perceiving more iterations, it's difficult to get yourself to go through that entire fractal. Like, if you're having a good idea as you're falling asleep, what technically is happening right there is like there's a certain connection made in your brain, right? And it took a certain level of energy, the inputs of your day, the food you ate, the amount you moved, the amount of water that you drank, the how tired you are, the amount of light you were exposed to. All of those things influence that current makeup of neuronal connectivity for you to have that idea. Sometimes we go to sleep like, oh, I'll remember tomorrow morning. Gone. Right? So technically, it is possible for your brain to make those connections, but getting to that exact pattern of connection can be difficult. Maybe we can let technology help with that, right? Store things as connected pathways that you can access, like addresses in your own brain. Sounds like useful skill to have. Especially if you actually, like think about it from a place of journaling. It's like journaling, except with your memories. You journal your memories. Sounds like it has a ring to it even. I'm looking forward to it. The ability to experience anything at all. Never mind the past, right? Because that's apparently something that humans do to a certain level of unique capacity. It's our ability to take the past and bring it into the present moment as something that helps us make a decision with more information. Like I'm looking at a Burby right now, a finch again. And I don't have to really think about it that hard. Like I know it's a bird. I can think about its descendants. I can think about the egg that it was hatched from. I can think about what it's doing right now, potentially what it's thinking. But it causes or it poses no threat to me. And it hasn't in my past. Right? I don't have any history with seeing that fractal where it is dangerous to me. And now at the exact same time, that's not the same truth for dogs even. Never mind people. Some people have been bit by dogs. So they get to have a certain experience in their past that gets pulled into this present moment that changes things, that acts as a certain cage, right? Maybe you've been bit by a dog in your past as a child, and that created deep fear in you. And now you visit one of your friends and they have a super nice dog that would never bite you, that only wants to love you. But because of that fear, you might be apprehensive of receiving that love. I've never really had an experience of a finch coming up to me and asking for scritches though. Right? So in the same way, even though there might be a certain level of fear with dogs, there's also a certain amount of love that you also have as a past to reference on. And I feel the sad thing about our current state of reality is where that number for people is reducing, right? And I don't know if that's necessarily 100% true, as much as it can feel that way sometimes. That the amount of love that people show others, or the amount of memories that people have of them being loved, is maybe shrinking. Could be part of technology playing a larger role in our lives, right? Us being distracted for more hours in our day might leave us with less hours to form memories that we are loved, right? And for me, the best way that I've kind of like come to a conclusion on that is to realize that every memory that you get to make is a reminder of the truth of love. And it's hard to see it that way sometimes, especially if we don't get what we think we want. It makes us feel caged, makes us feel small, powerless. But it's a joke because we just want to be the ones that pick our cage. Oh, I'll be comfortable in this cage, but not this one I'm in right now. Yeah. The only way to get comfortable in your cage is to live in it, right? I'm going to remember that line. I'm going to remind myself. But Mom, I don't want to be a planet. Freedom and vulnerability walk hand in hand. They have things figured out better than we do, Joe. So absolutely. I mean, they've been around for a long time too. Stepping out of the cage exposes you to the world of outdoor your protection of those walls. It's a sacrifice that must be taken. It's one that is very rarely met with that much anxiety-inducing activity that is imagined, right? Where you will trip yourself out about how dangerous it is out there in the world, outside of your little safe cage of what you think your reality is. And you're like spinning up these ideas in your mind of worst case scenarios, of what could happen. And then you'll go out there and that will rarely be what you actually experience. It's kind of sobering and humbling, heartening to know that there is still room for interpretation. I think it's like a geolocation thing as well. Not everybody gets to live in a country of love, right? With neighbors of love. At least not right now. But I can see us choosing a direction slowly but surely. We're like, yeah, why though? Why are we doing this? Why is this happening? More people are asking questions now than ever have. One, because we have the internet. Duh, melt. Two, because there's more people than there's ever been. I feel like that is one that people rarely think about. I didn't think about it much. I was like, yeah, people are thinking for themselves a little bit more. I mean, it's debatable. It's debatable, I know. But people are at least exposed to more information than they've ever been, which gives them more information to consider, which even if they're coming to the wrong conclusion, that's at least a conclusion with the information that we're exposed to right now. And even if you're coming to certain conclusions, you can't help but feel. Can't help but feel things. You can't help but consider. And the internet is giving us more room to consider things than ever. But at the same time, there are more of us than there's ever been in the history of humanity right now. If it was ever possible for us to come together as a class, because that's the thing, that's the real problem we're fighting right now. We're not fighting a racist problem. Long hasn't been that. We're not fighting a gender problem. We're not fighting a transgender problem. We're fighting a class problem of the other, right? And we mostly find ourselves as billions, as 7.7, 7.9 billion people at the same time feeling almost everything, at least collectively, literally, right? And that's a lot of stuff to feel at the same time. And if the cage you're in makes you feel that way, you're gonna start asking questions about, I don't know about how this cage is set up, bro. And like, we're the ones living in it. Why? More people are gonna start asking that question over the next year, 10 years, 20 years. We've been asking that question more so than ever. And now we actually start to become curious enough to allow ourselves the tools that have helped us ask that question for thousands of years. We've been asking why the whole time. And it seems to be unanimous what the real answer is that we're trying to reach the ideal state of being, right? Unironically, the reason the government gets away with as much as they do is because they offer close to our ideal state of being, or at least they used to. They built infrastructure that allowed us a more ideal state of being. And now we find ourselves chasing that which should be provided. Right? At least that's the way it was supposed to be in the first place. The government was supposed to work for you. That was the point. but there's more of us than there's ever been. And we find ourselves very powerless, specifically due to not knowing. The cage of not knowing. The conspiracy theory in me instantly switches on and is like, yo, don't you know the school system set up in a way for you to not know certain things by convincing you that others are important. Oh, good dog, go get him. She also gurs and scarf dances, so that's pretty sweet. It's true. The cage is, right? The cage is, living in the same earshot as she is, but wanting her to live in the same earshot. Stepping out of the cage, love again to you, bro. Eva and Pippi are doing their jobs and alerting the family that there is an intruder on the farm. They're not intruders though, right? Like if you have a key to the gate, or you're driving the same car, they should know by now, right? Am I expecting too much? Is that a cable I see in chat? Love to you, bro. Any identity can become a cage. I gift you chaos in these trying times. Love is true. Thank you, Cable, for the chaos, bro. I don't need too much chaos. Weirdly enough, I have been pretty anti-chaos as of late. Found myself drawn to a little bit more calm. I am pretending like time does not exist. And the more I convince myself, the easier it is to slow down time. But you also speed it up, right? It's like a balance. It's like you sacrifice time to the sped up version of it, and then you get to slow it down when you need to, just by not. Does that make sense? The way that I think of it is like tuning yourself into a frequency, right? And I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't know if it's really good for me. I don't even know if it's good for my information retention either. But when I watch content, I often watch it at X's of the normal content speed. 1.5 is casual, 2 is my usual, right? Depending on the narrator's voice and character. Sometimes 1.75 is like a necessary thing for me to properly be able to make out the words. But it's a means to an end, right? And if it goes faster, I can keep up with it. And then, by not doing that, by just sitting down, looking at that cat, taking a breath, I instantly dissociate of how much time it takes. Right? Did I spend seconds? How many seconds did I spend? As I'm paying attention to Kitty, she's like, what's happening here now, bro? She comes and lays closer to me. Yeah. Witness a majestic kitty catter. We live in the space together. She makes meow at me, and I make sure she has food. She was due for, they call it euthanasia? She was like a mall cat. Got captured by the pet patrol, pet control. She was put in the kennels, and she and her little sister, Shelby, was due to get put down. Somebody asked us, do we want to take them? And they got their new home. She came and laid down. Can I show you even? So close. Okay. She'll be in the far background. And now they get to live here, right? And they get to add to my experience. They were literally in a cage, waiting to not exist anymore. And now this is the cage they exist within. Guess it's a perception thing, right? Your point of view. If you are a cat, your point of view is probably very important if you want to get where you're going. Kitty catters just like themselves some calm. You see what I'm seeing right now? Like, just this is why I call Pippi a teacher. Right? Like, this is the lesson she's teaching me. She's like, bruh, have you tried just laying on your back with your feet up in the air? Have you tried that? No, I haven't. I haven't, Pippi. That's pretty smart. You want to see if we can get her tail to wag? Oh, je Pippi. Oh, je oude Pippi hoeft daar. Nee, lekker. I just wanted to see like a tail wag. Look at her punched in. Hallo Pippi, ze hoeft daar. Hallo dochtertjie. Oh, tja, maasie. Ja, sy het naweek gekom. Oh, tja, maasie. I might have interrupted her super comfy becoming one of the earth, but now she can have some lovins. Hello, sweetie. You like your little doggy cage? I got a little doggy cage. I'm gonna go. Like the thing, the scale difference. We think ourselves big, we think them small. On the scale of cells, we're absolutely enormous, and yet on the scale of our planet, we're both super small. I'm still thinking about the whole having a planet perspective thing. I'm sorry, Joyviv. We're planets again. What is it like being a planet? What does it feel like? What is our planet thinking about us right now? Being like, bro, these oaks. Can you stop? Can you stop with the war, please? Please, sirs. Put down the guns. Stop pushing those buttons. Just stop. Rat in the Cage. Maybe not the song title. Smashing Pumpkins, circa 1998. Freaking my birth year, bro. Bless you. No responsibilities. I love that song. It's called Zero Joe. Thank you, Joyviv. Joy. It was a great song when it first came out, but like many decent songs, it was overplayed until it got played out. Still a jammer though. Yeah, that happens. I feel like it still has like that nostalgia value. You can go back to it. I feel like it's not something you listen with a bunch of other people though. Like, yeah, I'm gonna play you all a banger, and then you play one of those. Like, I'm like, yeah, like people are gonna be like, yeah, but but stop. You know, you can buy more fancy weed. That's only the last if you want it to be so. Yeah, I know, Joyviv. I'm gonna buy more fancy weed. Don't you worry. Don't you worry about that. That's gonna happen all by itself. I can feel it wanting to happen. I can see myself being like, I am so sophisticated. I am connoisseuring right now. Buy myself like 8 gram a weekend. That's not too bad, right? I can see that being enough. I want to like switch over when I get busy next year to only smoking during the weekends after I have finished work for the week, not just for the day. And I feel like that is going to be a little bit of a change. There's probably going to be a lot of chaos. Yeah, there he is. I was hoping you were still here, Cable. There's probably going to be a lot of chaos, but it's going to be what it's supposed to be. I see a gobbledygoo skiwaba, skibapity flobbersklar. I do agree, bro. The flobbersklar we've been having these days has been very skibop. Oh, too skibop for me, man. Try to close my eyes and my ears. If I scream loud enough, maybe Maybe I won't be able to hear the others. Did you eat the blue pill again? New projects, new projects, new projects coming, bro. We're starting a company. We're going to make flowers, or at least put them in the outside world. Like the whole cage thing. We're going to use the cage that is the world to bring the psychedelic flowers into it. You know, don't fight it, utilize it. Kind of vibe. So much Lovins. Dehydrating apples. I see Shell here too. I'm gonna see where I can get back in. Skibbity bobbity. Mel, I think food is affecting us. Yeah, I'm like skibbity, like slow-mo dodging, taking my time reading through the comments. I just trying to have it. Caged in cages, cages in caged cages. Is part of the theme of Attack on Titan. Really? I don't think I've seen enough of it to really have consolidated that understanding, but I like it actually. Joe, you're making me smile real big this morning. Heck yes, so much love. Exactly. So much. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm the future. I will personify. I am the future. I will personally hold a highly utilizable source of nourishment. This sounds good to me. I'm sure that there will be food. There will be, but I still believe that growing your own is going to be a meaningful pursuit, right? I feel like that's the thing that people don't really get about growing your own food necessarily, right? Like, yeah, it could future proof you. You can now grow your own food so you don't have to rely on the big man to make sure you have food. True. But that doesn't really inspire confidence or hope. Maybe it doesn't some, but for me, the fact that it's fun. If you have robots doing most of the work for you, right, in the world, in the financial world, growing your own food, even with the help of robots, is going to be meaningful because you get to then maybe go and pick, or even if you don't want to pick it yourself, even the robots pick it for you and bring it into your home. You'll get to now eat the produce that was grown right outside your space, right? And that's going to be a good experience. So I feel like maybe that's the cage we have to escape, right? To not see it as like a end of the world doomerism thing, but to just see it as utility, a usefulness, a carbon sequestering all over the place, closeness to your own food source that saves the planet due to, carbon usage. Like I feel like those are easier cages to live in than the world's gonna fall apart and I'll die not having food to eat. Sounds lame, yo. Sounds like, yeah. Like so people would rather die. That's the joke. That's the joke for me. People would rather die of starvation if the man ends, right? If the system that we're a part of, if society collapses completely, people would rather die of starvation than grow their own food, like some at least. They'll scavenge until they can't anymore. Like it's a weird fractal. It's a weird fractal. I know it's chaos. We don't want to think about that stuff, but I doubt that that's where we're going. In fact, all markers, if you've paid attention to the cage we're a part of, point in the opposite direction. More freedom to humanity. My dogs destroyed my vacuum and I could have repaired it if it were designed for serviceability. I was pissed for having to spend money on a new one. Realize I am able and I get to do that. I'm grateful instead. Reframe. Thank you, Brother Bear, for reminding yourself of the love that you have in your life, man. His fan theories of location. I think I missed a few. The future holds. There we go. Shell flexing those observational skills. That is peace. Finite resources. I mean, within the internet realm, we can have more things than we've ever wanted without the need for the physicality thereof. No, 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 no. Moringa is good for you. It's a medicine plant, actually. I am reading through the manga right now for the first time, and I may provide more information in regards to some of that story. Love is true. Do let us know, actually, Sam. I don't want to type the ideas here because they are culturally specific and may sound wrong in 200 characters. Thank you, Shell, for being mindful. It's awesome. Came back to see Peppy. Love you, Nancy. Peppy was passed out, her feet in the air. She was having a good time. I hope that I didn't worsen her experience, right? I took her from her little comfy cage and gave her some stitches instead. The more I research these plants, the more excited I get about growing them. They're miracle plants that are 100% edible. They're spicy though. Fruit tastes like horseradish and spinach. I mean, sounds like a nice condiment for your meals. Swampy, I'll look into that for sure. I have to go and put my hands in gloves. So lurky cold. Love to you, bro. We'll see you. You're here in this moment with us still. I'm tripping out. Feel it, bro. Ski bobby flower ska. Nah. Regular old slobber gobber about to go to gym. Bless you, bro. Hope you're enjoying it, man. Go and work them muscles. Become jacked. Become strong. What are you gonna get? Busy on new projects. 3D mapping is the easiest way to verbalize it in a few words. I'm watching a little Psychobaki hummingbird drink from those purple flowers. Let me see if I can show you wide, punched in a little bit more. I don't know if it's still there though. It's not. No! Little hummingbird, please return. Come and drink some nectar. Little hummingbird, please return. I want to share you with my friends. Nah. Dude or dudette has seen themselves out. There is still a little finch in the tree there, but I don't think you'll be able to see him from this angle. Skibidi. Okay. An excellent way to look at it. New company sounds amazing. Thank you, bro. I wish you well in your future endeavors. Thank you. And like, I see this willingness for us to show up for our dreams and how the world meets us halfway over and over as we continue forward. You friends have given me hope more than you know. I want to see all of you friends continue to grow. It's just a matter of time. We can't help it, literally, right? We just have to keep showing up for love. How does a dog destroy a vacuum? Dogs are agents of chaos. I mean, have you seen the size of his dogs? They could destroy, buildings if they really thought about it. Cats are way more destructive by comparison. I don't think you've seen some of the videos I've seen. I've seen dogs literally rip every little bit of fluff out of a couch. Right? Imagine a whole couch, nice and plush. And then transition to that nice and plush couch, now empty fabric hanging in tethers and fluff, the entire building full. Right? I've seen huskies capable of that behavior. Cats ain't doing that. Cats is not gonna do that. So I think it depends, okay? Sorry, Gob. I don't know. Anyway, it's just a thing. I get new thing and move on. I love my dogs. I completely understand, bro. Like, I've seen kids do worse things. At this home, there used to live these two kids who opened a bucket of white enamel paint, painted themselves, their eyebrows, their hair, painted his dad's car, painted trees, painted the walls, painted the windows. And enamel paint isn't great to get off of things. It was a disaster. So yeah, I think that was more expensive than the couches even, potentially. Oh, no, skimp, nope. Trust me, I spent a week or so doing very little. Hated it. Automation can be a negative too. I get you, bro. I feel like it's a matter of balance, right? where if you can automate certain things to open room for you to do the things that you want to be doing, that's when growth occurs, you know. But if it's you automating the things that you like doing, that's like taking things away from yourself, right? Some cages are nice to be in, right? Some cages are nice to be in. Like the cage of your creative process can give you a sense of power that is valuable. Yup, and I can tell he learned his lesson too, Joe. He genuinely demonstrated remorse. What a good boy. Oh, that's loving at least. Oh, that's nice. Took gloves off to say duck dad gets growing food. Duck dad gets growing food is meaningful. You were looking for that? You were looking for that? Were you trying to lead me to it? There you go, duck dad. Finally, oh, bask in your glory. Oh, reverse the stream and play it back over and over again, right? When you feel yourself starting to cry, you just play back that 1 minute voice line. God, that the hair killed the spinner. Took gloves off to say love is true. The cats never destroyed my vacuum or ate my couches or shoes. Yeah, there it is. Exactly. I think me and Joy were like echoing the same sentiment. Gob, dogs seem to have genuine remorse when they realize they messed up. This is true. Cats are pretty much even keel no matter what they do. They just look at you while they continue to destroy stuff. Vivan saying all cats. I've had many cats over the years that are awesome too. But the gaff about your feelings, but they don't give a fuck about your feelings. Yeah, cats are rude. Disrespectful is one of the other words that I use. Right, like I feel cats are pretty disrespectful. They have no respect. Hey Jesper, love to you. I'm seeing your name pop up suddenly. I don't think I've seen you before, but I see you. Blessings. It's nice having you here. Yeah, like I feel like that's the thing that kind of like gets me about cats as well, Joe. Like Ginger, for example. Like he's almost like 11 years old or something. I don't know, 9 years old. He's an old cat, right? And he doesn't care. He has no remorse, no respect. Again, that word. He has no respect for your space, for your food. Oh, there's food on the table. Guess it's my food too. Oh. Oh, there's chicken set out for the dinner. Guess I'm having chicken for dinner. That sounds sick. And as you mentioned, right, when you get him off the table, there's no remorse. There's no like, oh, I did something bad. Please forgive me. There's just like, I'll fucking do it again. And it's like, bro, come on. Come on. Oh, where's the respect? Just wanted to say that I came across your channel and I love your energy. Thank you, Jasper. Bless you, friend. Thank you for joining us and for choosing out of anything that you could have said to me to say that. It's nice having energy like yours here too. Know that it goes both ways. Sam, he annihilated the power cable in an effort to diagnose repairability. I attempted to disassemble the chassis, but stripped some screws and broke the chassis, trying to force it open. Anyway, it's just a thing. I get new things and move on. I love my dogs, exactly. Your dogs are going to be more valuable. They are children. Definitively, very much so. Right, not exactly the same level of responsibility, but I don't think any diminishing of care or love or connection, right? Love is still true, whether or not it's a child or an animal. The reason I ask is because hair kills a lot of vacuum cleaners, also true, and did until we picked up hair squeegees to get some of the hair off. I think so. I don't think he actually numbed it, but I have cats. Melt. Redbubble is having a sale right now, and I just put a coffee mug with one of your flowers on it in my cart. Bless. Thank you, Loisana. I wanna like the thing for me with these current print-on-demand sites is I feel like I'm too limited. That's like where my heart kind of like gets stuck a little bit right now. So I don't know if it is public information necessarily, but Kristen is going to probably be able to help me with that going forward. She mentioned that she wanted to start a store, didn't have any content. I mentioned I have content. and I've already started a store. So thank you for reminding all of us about Redbubble. It's like it's a means to an end. That's the way I'll say it. And I think it's good for what it is, but the the obsessive part of me is not ready to use it. Not ready to use it as I would like to, at least. And I believe it's going to get better, but yeah, like I don't know how to say it other than it's not ready for what I want to do. Zoom, 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 zoom. There'll be more stuff on Readable soon. I'll keep everyone posted. There we go. Yeah. Kristen, thank you. Thank you. Kristen is like making some stuff. I sent her the last 222 flowers as a bundle, and I sent the one that you mentioned you want to make some clothing out of. So I have like a Patreon, as you friends know, for the flowers, and this one was yesterday's. No, day before yesterday's. Kristen mentioned that she would like one of these as a pair of clothing that she can wear. So yeah, most of them, this is yesterday's. Most of them is uploaded now, or at least their most recent ones. I feel like my last 222 are better than the previous 444, 40, 64, basically. So yeah, we'll get to see more of these little fractals on different items hopefully soon. My dad even asked me about it, Kristen. My dad was also curious. He's also excited about having someone who's actually going to be able to flourish in that environment. I think it's the best way to say it. Get a new thing and move on. Love is true again, dude. When I was 6, my neighbor and I took green enamel paint and went to a neighbor's ugly house to fix it up. Okay, we painted the porch and walked home covered in paint. My dad got home, never said a word. He took me and Linny, walked away, came back and lifted us by one arm each, carried us that way into the running shower and dropped us in. It's intense, Shell. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, friend. Can't imagine Dad being that disconnected. I know you know, doesn't say anything about you. You were loved, dear friend. We're here every day. Be sure to show up tomorrow if you want to. This room will be available to you, this space. Now that I took it back, dogs have much more damage in my personal world. They just always apologize for it, and maybe that's why it seems less impactful. Once again, cats don't care. Yeah, I don't know how this turned into a cats versus dog things. I was reflecting on a practice of gratitude in response to something that could have made me angry. People like what they like. Let people enjoy things. I completely agree, Gavrigu. I feel, weirdly enough, the reason it took the turn that it did is just to again enlighten in all of our minds how quick we are to form cages. I live in the dogs are best cage. No, you are stupid. Because clearly cats are best cage is better, superior. Cats are cage, dogs cage. Let's put ourselves in this little cage. Where I deal with that problem is to get both cats and dogs. Yeah. Now I have double cage. 2 cages around me at the same time. And then, of course, having to take care of myself. Like I'm basically my own pet as a cage. Oh, goodness. And then I have to take care of them as well. And maybe you have kids. So you have extra things to take care of. Little cages that you have to keep alive. You don't want to let the magic smoke out, as they say. Oh no, that person's soul just left their body. Damn it. Don't do that. Here, eat some food. Drink some water quickly. So I'm being morbid a little bit. I'm sorry. Cute faces with malicious intent. People like what they like. Again, agreed. Cat versus dog, potato versus apples, cars versus unicycles, food versus conscious evolution. Cages. So many cages that we put ourselves in. And Rooster Surgery. What's Mel's Redbubble link? I think you might be able to find it if you just go to Redbubble. Let me see. No, 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 no. Red Bubble. I think it's called Melting Flowers. Or just straight melt more. It might just be straight melt more. Yeah. No, mind melting flowers. That's what I called the website. Sold by Meltmore. They're not bad, but they could be better. My mind wants them to be better still. Like this is one of them. 3-inch by 3-inch sticker that you can buy for a water bottle. Then it's like $1.83. Is that a lot? I don't know. It has like 30% off right now, apparently. That's probably the deal Louisiana's talking about. Okay. People with the lights. Wow. I don't have a nice coffee mug at work right now. I want this one. It will make me cheery. Bless. I'm happy to hear that. Like, maybe what you could do as well, Louisiana, is you can look through the last, you just casually look through the last 200 flowers and then get the one that like peaks that happiness level that you're talking about. And maybe we can, have a mug made, with one of those specifically. And you can potentially, get exactly what you want, not just what is available. That's one of the other things as well. Is like the process. I get the feedback loop of getting things made on Redbubble, right? Like uploading the file. I've done it. Those are technically the ones I made. Uploading the file, positioning it, how you layer it, etc., etc. I just cannot get myself to do it. I got myself to do it initially, but then I couldn't continue. I was like, yeah, I get this loop. I get that if I continue doing this loop, it will allow me potential for more revenue. It's not that important to me. And the fact that other people, you friends, find it important enough to actually want to buy these things, it helps me free myself from my cage, I guess is one way to say it. What's Redbubble Love again? Thank you. No. I don't have a nice coffee mug at work right now. Again, bless. Roosters fight everyone and poop everywhere. Sorry for rambling. It's okay. You have been dealing with having a rooster in your space, recently. So you get to experience the curve. It's just Meltmore on Redbubble. Thank you. Louisiana. I have no idea about roosters, except that they poop everywhere. I assume all birds did that. Weirdly enough, Josh Mo, the fact that you had to talk about that, I had to now just share my fractal as well. When I was finishing my shower and I came out into the world again, free from my cage of cleanliness or whatever, the first thing I heard was a rooster cock-a-doodle-dooing, losing his little mind. And I was also feeling some way about it. Ye dogs. I heard you like cages. I was thinking about making an Etsy shop to sell some seed bombs. I have an idea for. Could we all do a hippie goods Etsy shop? If not, why not? That's what I like to say. All right. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it. Mel, does your hair tangle up a lot? If I go, there's like tangles there. All right. And if I go again, there's tangles there. This one is, yeah, tangles galore. Never not tangles. I washed my hair today, combed it out again nicely with an anti-tangle brush. Yeah, no mercy. no. The cages, right? My hair, a cage that I keep on top of my face. I'm sorry. Oh, bro, so many cages. And yet we accept them. I'm happy in my cage. Thank you very much. I'll stay. I'll keep it around. Sell what you can and use the rest. Melty has the perfect hair for dreadies. You want to give me dreadlockers? I'm not saying never, but I'm definitely saying not now. Not anytime soon, probably. I would absolutely be in tears of joy and laughter if I got home and someone painted my ugly house green for me. What a sweet thing, truly. Airplane just flew over me. Very low, at least from what I understand. How high they should be. Swampy, I have to be one to do all the work while I'm trying to get another business and, somehow be a dad while being a contractor. Sounds like the American dream, bro. Insensitive. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be insensitive. I'm really not. I'm really not meaning to be insensitive. It's funny. It's like morbidly funny. It's like, oh wow, how about this dream we were all sold? They're like, yeah, this is what you're gonna like. This is what you should strive for. What? It doesn't matter that you don't get to spend any time with your kids. It doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. You have your wife made for raise kids. That's what they're there for, dude. You can just work. You just work all the time, so we can get that dream. So one day you can get that dream. That sounds like a bad deal, yo. What have people done to us? Convinced us to keep ourselves in cages. Surely something changes. Surely, right? 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 Come on, say something changes. Something has to change. Something always changes. It cannot not change. That is something empirically true. It does seem to have some sort of iterative loop thing going on, where even if they change back to the change we changed from, to change back to the change we changed from the previous change. So we can then change back to the previous state of change we were in before we changed, so we can change the change that we changed. How many times have we done this? How many? Are we in the good fractal of change? I'd like to believe so. I would like to believe so, because things are clearly not good right now. We're not all like, oh, we're in utopia. This is fantastic. No, that's not where we are right now. So surely we're going there so we can go back to destroying each other again. I would like to believe that we'll free ourselves from that cage by freeing ourselves from the first. Hopefully that's a possibility. Hopefully with our current technology, by freeing ourselves from the cage of maybe just scarcity, we'll be able to free ourselves from the cage of greed. Right? If you can literally not consume everything that you have, if there's no scarcity in your life at all, you do not know what that means. Maybe there will be no need for greed as an evolutionary trait. And within the next 5 generations of humanity, we can actually get rid of it. Is that eugenics? No, stop. It's not eugenics. It's natural selection. Those that hate, those that steal, those that are corrupt, those that don't have the best of humanity at heart are already few and far between. But with the current technology age, you're visible, right? Your impact is understood, not only seen. Usually your impact could be seen, but very few people understand impact, right? Think about this. You have a relationship with life, with friends, with family, with your work, with your art, with your food, with your personal hygiene. You have relationships with the outside world in that way, always, right? And that is individualized to every single one of us. And it's not something you can necessarily take away as much as you can separate. See them as cages and then believe yourself to be escaped. Human beings were seen. So again, right, that is the being seen part. And then there's the understanding of the impact that you have. So if you're seen from that perspective, right, this relationship you have in the world, what is the impact that that has on that person that sees, and then the person, how they react to the outside world, and then all of the things that people see them doing because of what they saw you doing, and then they start doing things. Impact, right? That is the unseen. Even though it's facilitated by the seen, the unseen consequences of it isn't very apparent, at least not at first. You don't have to understand for it to be true, though. Exponential growth. You are a part of the exponential growth that this planet is experiencing right now. Accept your power and make it good. Make it loving. That's the best thing that you can do for the world right now. Even as a contractor, for the duck dad. That's what we're going to fall back on. So we free ourselves. There have been some lately that I would love on a mug, pants, sticker, etc. Please like send maybe like the numbers. Like scroll through the last like 200. Those are going to be the ones that Kristen has access to as HD files. I have to be the one to do all the work while I'm trying to get another business love again. Yaoski Bapati, do you brush it every day? Yes, technically. Technically, it gets brushed every day. I have a anti-tangle brush of like soft bristles or whatever. So it's not supposed to be too harmful for my hair, but it gets brushed every day. My woofy husky's hair tangles and needs a lot of brushing between grooms. Yeah, every single time I go to sleep, like the amount of tangling reaches an exponential. And then I usually shower. I wash my hair like once a week, and it's like water for the rest of it. You know, like still scrubbing my hair and my scalp, but just with water. But that also induces knotting. So it's a constant thing. It never ceases. Swampy, I got plenty of rhythm. Oh, absolutely. Bet you didn't get a leave-in conditioner. You don't know me. It's a good thing nobody took you up on those bets, because I wouldn't want to see you make money on you being right about that. I haven't gotten a leave-in conditioner. This is true. I did ask my sister about it. She's like, I've been using leave-in conditioner since I was like 11. I'm like, oh. Thank you for not telling me that's the thing or whatever. No chance roosters poop more than ducks. Ducks are like crab cakes of the fellow world. Oh, bird jokes. I have a third topic. Yeah, I feel like that's like my call to pull a card. You know, bring it back to some sort of synchronicity, some sort of sacred geometry, sacred geometric stability. This one. Faces of Angkor. I did pull it upside down. I just feel like I was going there, or I was being pulled there. Could definitely see myself getting into a zone full of those stone faces, gleefully not looking at me. I'm currently driving around the wood of a tractor, snatching mannequin arms off a dummy in trees. I never thought I would say that combination of words in a sentence. I don't know what it means. My life is so weird. Yeah, no, all of our lives are weird. Like there's a part of us that dissociates, right? What did I just say? What the hell was those words that just left my mouth? Cue the circus music, 57. 18 today. I don't actually know how many cards there are. There are 64 in total. 64 total cards. But this is today's. Faces of Angkor. Faces of Angkor. What's the core meaning? Ancient wisdom? Ancient wisdom as the core meaning. Like this is calling me to look something up first. Blue and yellow. I mean, blue and yellow I feel is kind of correct. It doesn't have a lot of yellow in it, but it's more like blue and orange. I was way off. It's okay. Practice makes perfect. Before I go into this, the reverse meaning is very simple. It goes, get up from the TV and learn something old. Don't you assume something about me, sacred geometries? Before I read this card, I do want to do this. I feel called to go one layer deeper. See if there's any depth to explore before we get out of it. Me and some friends have been having a conversation about cages, how the mind is a cage for our perception or our awareness, the brain is a cage for the mind, the body is a cage for the brain, the earth is a cage for the body, and so on and so forth. And one of the things that I would like to ask you is, can you give me any ancient wisdom, old wisdom, anything from long ago that talked about the nature of cages and how we're supposed to survive in the world, how we're supposed to interface if we feel like we are in a cage? You ready? You ready to see some of the depth? I feel like a lot of this stuff we've already discovered or discussed in the stream already, but I still think it's good to kind of like have a nice little summary. We are consciously evolving after all. Let's go. Number 1, Buddhism. The concept of samsara in Buddhism refers to the cycle of birth, life, death, and then rebirth. Breaking free from the cycle is seen as achieving enlightenment or nirvana. The 4 noble truths of the Eightfold Path provide guidance on overcoming suffering and limitation. So if you want to get into Buddhism, that's going to be like the first things you get introduced to. The 4 noble truths in the Eightfold Path. I would butcher it if I tried to name them right now. The second one is Plato's allegory of the cave. This one we've talked about as well. In the Plato's Republic, there is a famous allegory of the cave. It suggests that people are like prisoners in a cave, seeing only shadows on the wall. Breaking free from the cave symbolizes the journey of enlightenment, where individuals gain a higher understanding of reality. So, yeah, the understanding that things aren't just shadows, that things, you, aren't just a body, right? Because that's the joke of Plato's cave. It doesn't actually have anything to do with seeing the shadows, right? That is, again, trying to get you to understand something retroactively, that you are like a shadow to your highest self, right? As above, so below. And yeah, that one is hard to understand. Like, this is not a cage, technically, right? But you can convince yourself of it. You can convince yourself of it. You can convince yourself so realistically that you will laugh at those who try to tell you otherwise. Number 3 is Taoism. Taoism philosophy, particularly as expressed in the Tao Te Ching by Laozi, emphasizes living in harmony with the Tao, the natural way of the universe. By aligning ourselves with the Tao, one can transcend limitations and find a sense of balance and freedom. Hinduism. The concept of Maya, the illusion, in Hinduism refers to the illusory nature of the material world. By recognizing the transient and illusionary aspects of reality, individuals can seek a deeper understanding of the self and the divine. Number 5, ancient Greek Stoicism. Stoicism, a school of Hellenistic philosophy, teaches that individuals can find inner peace by accepting the things they cannot change and focusing on what is within their control. The idea is to cultivate virtue and wisdom to navigate the challenges of life. My modern philosophy fractal was the only way to get comfortable in your cage is to live in it. Right? Right? That's like kind of stoic-ish. I feel like maybe like this is some sort of melting together of a bunch of these ideas. Number 6, Native American wisdom. Various Native American tribes have traditional teachings about living in harmony with nature and recognizing interconnectedness. The idea is to find balance and respect for all beings. Funny how respect was one of the things that came up with the cat conversation. And then finally, Zen Buddhism. Zen Buddhism often employs paradoxical statements or koans to disrupt habitual thought patterns and lead practitioners to a direct, non-conceptual awareness. This is aimed at transcending dualistic thinking and realizing a state of liberation. What a trip! While these traditions may use different languages and cultural contexts, the underlying theme is often about recognizing limitations, understanding the nature of existence, and finding a way to transcend or navigate the challenges posed by the cages of life. Each tradition provides its own set of practices and insights for achieving a sense of freedom and enlightenment. Can you give me a beautiful Zen Buddhist koan about someone who frees himself from a cage by realizing that he was the one who made it? Let's see if we can get something good. I hope this is not too long. No, okay. Doesn't seem to be long. One famous Zen koan that touches on the theme of self-realization and the creation of one's own limitations is the following. A monk asks Master Joshu, does a dog have Buddha nature or not? Bruh, what a trip. Like you see, like, sure, the universe and everything. Sure, AI. But now the fact that through 2 conversations, 2 questions, we happen to find ourselves right back within like the theme that somehow arose in our stream today. There we go, disconnected for a moment. The same cages, always the same cages. Does a dog have Buddha nature or not? Joshu replied, Mu. In this koan, the questioner is asked about the inherent Buddha nature, the enlightened essence in all beings, even a dog. Joshu's response, Mu, is a term often translated as no or not. It goes beyond the simple affirmation or negation, inviting the practitioner to transcend conventional dualistic thinking. The idea is that the monk, by asking the question, is implicitly assuming certain limitations or boundaries. The answer, Mu, challenges these assumptions and encourages the monk to look beyond conceptual distinctions. In doing so, the practitioner might come to realize that the question itself and the implied limitations are a construct of the mind. The koan prompts reflection on the nature of our questions, assumptions, and the mental cages we create for ourselves. It suggests that true liberation comes from seeing through these self-imposed limitations and realizing the boundless nature of one's own mind. How about that? Now, with all of that as our context, I feel like this card is going to be even more meaningful. Interfacing through the bars of the cage still has its value. We are blessed with many senses of perception. A cage is merely a single hurdle when it comes to communication and interaction. We are capable of transcending these barriers. We are already, right now in this moment, transcending these barriers. Usually, we would have to take these individual little cages through thousands of miles of transport for us to have this shared moment. And now we're having it. I'm waving at you. Hey, you're in this moment with me. Remember that. I'm not just like a recording on a screen. Sure, I'll be a recording on a screen after just saying that moment. But I'm also me, as much as I can be, with you in this moment. We are free from our cages more than we've ever been. Remember that. Hi, got to go. Memorial Day. Love to you. Zano. After his friend passed away, we got news that another passed. He was a writer and part of the group since 2006. He loved Taoism and Buddhism. He published 3 books and also used to volunteer and do Tai Chi for the group. He will be missed. 2 big blows, and our group is kind of bottomed out right now. Maybe the death reminds us of how important life is. Realizing that our death in the same way would also negatively affect other people, right? Realizing that in a weird way we're in that cage too. And maybe we might be happy to realize we're in that cage. The fact that we would affect one another if we were no longer here. The fact that that came up as an important thing to cover, it just feels like even more synchronous. I'm sorry, Zana, for the loss of your friend. They will live on. Gary Lee. Gary Lee just kicks down the door, blesses me with some 11/11 energy on day 11/11. I think you know this. You probably do know this. It's 11/11, of course. Gary Lee had to bless us. Thank you, Brother Bear. Thank you so much. Warms my heart, seriously. This is the card we pulled for today's stream. Faces of Angkor. Card number 18. Maybe it means something to you as well. Diamond geometries illuminate the enigmatic faces carved on the Bayon Temple Mountains at Angkor, a vast city of sacred architecture in Cambodia. At this temple site, some 37 of the 49 to 40 to 54 original face towers still stand inside the formation of ancient wisdom. Young Buddhist monks enjoy the afternoon light and the glow of the massive meditative portraits. A deep sense of peace and wisdom permeates this ancient sacred place. This card invites you to explore the realms of ancient wisdom. Long-held secret, ancient wisdom traditions are becoming increasingly accessible for our exploration. The more we learn about people who walked the earth before us, the more fully we may understand our humanness. This card encourages you to investigate any tradition to which you are attracted. I just said like 7 of them, right? Taoism, Zen Buddhism, normal Buddhism. Stoicism is the one that really got me. Did we miss some? Yeah, Plato's allegory is like also a little bit more Stoicism vibes. But yeah, go and explore one of them. One of them actually called for you, and you're like, how about this liberation from suffering thing? Go and find out more about Buddhism. You don't have to believe in it. You can just learn from it, right? You cannot believe something and know it to be true at the same time. Remember that as well. So know for yourself. Don't believe anything. Know for yourself. Right? Maybe that's the ancient wisdom that we're all trying to seek, actually. There are many to enjoy. Yet, what you are seeking is more than a superficial glance. I gave but a superficial glance. This may be a time for deeper study, or perhaps it is in your future to make a personal pilgrimage to the places where ancient wisdom dwells. Where might you adventure, be it by book or by boat, internet or jet plane? Become a seeker of ancient wisdom and witness how it will change your life. Adventure forth with an open heart and mind. Be prepared to learn as much about yourself as you will about those who came before. Enjoy. Love is true. Many saints and sages have come before us. Heed their guidance for liberation. They were showing up for love, after all. Thank you, Brother Gary Lee, for doing the same in our world, man. He is 12 today. My nephew was born on 11/11/11. He is 12 today. Man, dude's got some superpowers. Maybe he's our liberator. Maybe he is the one, right? Apparently, we're still technically waiting for the one, technically speaking. Uh, technically. Like, really? Technically speaking? Technically. Little bug still screaming his little lungs out, rubbing his wings together, probably. Knowledge is cumulative. Oh, yes. Especially with the internet. Now we remember more clearly than we've ever been able to. We're literally storing data in glass now. That's the new step. We're storing data in glass. We are all the one, and the one is within the all. Within our little doggers, too. Look at that. There's an entity that considers herself one, right? Like if I say, Puppy, the cat doesn't get up and come to me. No, Peppy knows. Peppy knows when I say the word puppy, she gets some scritchings. Yeah, it's me. I get scritchings when I hear puppies. Oh, man, this leg is completely asleep. It's making all of the bzz, bzz, bzz. Hey, Eben, thank you for wanting alongside us. There is no separation after all. That's the day. That's the day Skyrim was released. To think about that for a second. Joe Schmo's kid nephew is as old as Skyrim. Melts my brain, yo. Blessings to the kids being born right now. Love you, friends. I've landed and I have to fly. Lovings to you. Fly safe. We'll see you again soon. Dear Ja. Thank you for spending this moment with us, for letting us accompany you. Sam, I knew that you would know that obscure reference. Dovahkiin Joe. The Skyrim I get, but I feel like I'm missing some context. Love you, Jobo. Have a super awesome, fantastically beautiful day. Love is true. Thank you, Shan. Okay. Are you ready for some karimba? A little bit of karimba? The way the red light paints that mountain as the sun sets touches my brain. I hope it does something for you too. Which is better, this way? This way? I feel like we want like this piece, right? This piece is important. Feels important. I'll move back a little bit. Not a cloud in the sky though. A little bit of wispies in the background. Always ready for Kalimba. Melty the context is some of the Bethesda fans. Had a kid on Skyrim's release date. Named it Dovahkiin. Oh goodness. Maybe like I understood that's what you meant, but I completely dissociated where I was like, please don't call your kid Dovahkiin. I thought I was a chunk full of useless knowledge. It's okay. No. So much love. Your friends ready? I want to make this better. Okay, this way I can be the tree. I can be part of the tree at the very least. This is it. take me to trivia night and see how useless I am. uh, there we go. A Musquatty, a Musqueeter, a Mazumaquax freaking landed on my body and started drinking my blood while I was playing my kalimba. So I had to put a stop to that. I do think he died. But at the same time, I've been seeing one of those same Musquatties climb on top of my kitty and Musquattying her. She's very aware though. Every single time it lands on her fur, like she'll shake it. So she knows. 3 minutes from 11:11 on 11:11. I'll wait for that actually. I want to spend that 11:11 with you. Sam, my brother, was on the fence about naming him Dovahkiin. Bethesda was offering a lifetime subscription or something like that, so it was a topic of discussion in his family at the time. Oh goodness, that feels more dystopian than the previous time I heard this fractal. Like the lifetime subscription thing for being named Dovahkiin as an incentive. That's a little bit concerning. Love to you, Iban. Sure. Do I love Shan? Taiwan Shan Day. 11/11 is coming up. Of course. I'm counting down to Kristen. Watch little Ulfric so he doesn't go killing nobody. I'm so lost. I'm guessing still some. What do you call it? Mm, I was thinking about the exact word. Inside jokes. That's the one. Maybe not completely inside. Maybe inside knowledge. Not a joke necessarily. I did get misqueried. Freaking mosquitoes. Why are we getting so wrecked, yo? Seems unfair. 1 minute. I'm going to put strawberry milk in my oats to make me feel better. Love is true. Zano, treat yourself. Thank you for continuing. Love is true. We're probably going to get our Shan message at 11:11. Lucky. Double energy Shan message. Yeah, I wish I could set up cutaways, but I don't have the budgeting or the animation departments for that. Always add a yet, right? Just like a small little yet after that would instantly make me feel less caged. Make you feel less caged as well. Melty, thank you for these moments. Thank you, Josh Mo, for showing up for them, bro. I'm just opening my little cage window. Kristen, thank you for the $11.11 at 11 minutes past 11 on 11/11, the year 2023. Thank you for blessing me. I'm imagining what that blessing looks like as impact over the next 100 years of my life. I would like to believe I'll make a good impact of it. Thank you for trusting me with your resources. Love is true. I wish I could set up a cutaway love again. Thank you for these moments. Does strawberry milk come from strawberry cows? Of course. Of course they do. Strawberry cows, they look wonderful. They smell like marshmallows. Okay. Have the most beautifulest day, everyone. I, for really, realzers, love you all so very, very superest duperest. Mega, mightily, massively, mammothly, monolithically, mountainously, dearly beloved, handsomely, hortatively, heuristically, melt more. And all of you, oh so very, very amazingly, admirably, fascinatingly, favorably, remarkably, risably, optimumly, populently, keenly, kick-buttedly, beamingly, gorgeously. There's another one coming. This one is melting my brain. I love it. Brilliantly, resplendently, magically magical, deeply cherished divine friends that cage what need to be caged and open and break free from what needs not be caged. But lovingly, and there's more, and compassionately shared. There we go. Break free from the cages that keep us from being caged in our freedom to be together. Yeah. Yeah. Love you, Shan. Thank you for sharing your love with us. Kick buttedly. That one is the one that got me too. The kick buttedly. The kick buttedly and the opulently. Opulently was the one that really kicked me into a new gear. Opulently and keenly. Opulent. I like that word. It satisfies me. Opulent. Hey Google, define opulent. Opulent. Ostentiously costly and luxurious. Ostentiously. I'm so ostentious with my opulence. Hey Google, define ostentious. No, not ostens. Hey Google, define ostentious. Bro, this thing's brain is getting melted. Can't hear what I'm saying. Hey Google, define ostensibly, as appears or is stated to be true, though not necessarily so, apparently. Love is true. Thank you for being opulent alongside me, for making your cage a nice one to live in. Right? This body, this space that we've created on the internet. I thought of horchata too. So much love. Osten, ostentatious, ostentatious. Hey Google, define ostentatious. Ostentatious, characterized by a pretentious or showy display designed to impress. Are you entertained? Are you being impressed right now? What should I do? Start walking onto the grass, starts throwing triple backflips. Everybody goes, wow, that is impressive. Suddenly I get all the updates. Suddenly all of the internet, is raving. Y'all make me so happy. Enjoy this 11/11 energy filled day, my friends. Beloved ones, thank you for joining me again. I'll see you again real soon. Tomorrow, 24 hours. I'm back here again. Love you.